As always, starting out a little early. Thought I'd again check it out to make sure. This apparently his wife beat her Saturday night. He's supposed to get liquored up for these events, but I'm not doing that. I haven't had a drink in many, many years. Anyway, let's hope things go. There's Michael. Michael's my audio okay? Michael, is the audio okay? Good. I, I can never tell. I'm a minute early here, but as I wore my fancy shirt tonight. Yep. Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in any kind of use? Good evening. This is Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey with the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net. Is there any emergency or priority traffic? Very good. If there is emergency or priority traffic, net may be broken at any time. Of course, call 911 if you have an emergency, but you can call us for other things, even if it is an emergency. We will help you in any way we can. Information on this net, you can see us on the website 146415.net. That's 146415.net, or you can look us up on our Yahoo site, which is MJ underscore Sierra Sierra on the Yahoo groups. It's MJ underscore Sierra Sierra. Or you can email me at k4pew@arrl.net. We normally meet at 8 p.m. every Wednesday and Saturday night. And this week we're conducting the net, as always, on 146.415 FM Simplex. You do not have to wear a wife beater shirt like I'm wearing tonight. I just thought I'd go really super casual today. Purpose of the net is to support and train ham radio operators locally, helping them increase their operating skills and increase their station efficiencies and how well they can hear and how well they can transmit. We invite everyone to use the net to announce amateur radio events, activities, resources, and training in support of the local community. Is there any? Oh, yeah, no. This is right. Directing net and all traffic should be coordinated by net control. Is there any announcements? Yeah, nothing. Of course, we got that. What do you call it? The Tullahoma Ham Fest is coming up on the 9th of March. We've got another net, of course, here on this frequency on Wednesday. And then we've got the Wilson County Amateur Radio Club's net. That's the Aries Information Net on 147.105 plus offset in a 156.7 tone. And that's at 8 p.m. on Thursdays, and it's every Thursday. And of course, we also have the Tuesday night, which I don't have all the information, but Tuesday nights is the Wilson Emergency Preparedness Net. It's held every Tuesday night. And that's on their repeaters, which I don't have handy, but I'm hoping somebody has it handy.
Contact.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Announcement, the next Wilson Hampshire Radio Club meeting will be March the 2nd. Saturday, March the 2nd at 6 p.m. at room 122, Lamprey Hall at Cumberland University. That's Saturday, March the 2nd.
All right. The Wilson County Amateur Radio Club is having their normal monthly meeting on March the 2nd. at 6 p.m. Lamprey Hall, room 122, as I recall. Is that what you said, Tom? 122?
Room 122. If you're not familiar with it, somebody there will have a handy-talkie to help you in. KB4 SFM.
All righty, very good. And again, that's March 2nd, 6 p.m., Wilson County Amateur Radio Club meeting, Lamprey Hall, Commerson University, 6 p.m. in room 122. Anything else? There you go. Those are the repeaters for the Wilson County Emergency Preparedness Net is 442.125 and a plus offset in a tone of 100 and then a 444.750. And that has a digital DCSS tone. It's a plus offset and a 503. I believe it's NN. I have no idea what that means. Code on it, DCS tone on it. Now, does anybody have any questions, Phil, commentary, etc.? Please, or any other announcements? Please come in. All righty, nothing heard. Remember, wife beater T-shirts, Sweets wife beater shirts are optional tonight. Yankees hats are also optional. Tattoos are also optional. All right. Well, and nothing else on announcements or corrections. All righty, and we'll start taking check-ins from the east. Please come now.
WA4ZHI.
Hey, James, how are you doing tonight? Soggy as always.
Oh, yeah, we just live in a soggy bowl here.
Yeah, no, it's getting kind of crazy. It's, I think Seattle moved here.
So you just kind of dodged the lightning and all that.
Yeah, I went over to Kroger's. It's actually, just as simple driving out in heavy rains like that is always a pain, and it's dangerous.
Yeah, just want to watch out for ditches and flooded roads.
Yep. Well, yeah, that's always a danger. All right, well, very good, James. Sound good tonight. Look forward to hearing a good report on your signal from west down in Watertown. Very good. That was James Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel India, and he's over here in the middle of Mount Juliet. Who else? East of Mount Juliet?
Kilo India 4 Sierra India Bravo.
Hey, Richard, you sound good tonight?
I'm just trying to get across the street, and I hope everybody on a high spot. I really do, because the water's coming, folks.
Yeah, I just saw that notice about them releasing even more water into the Cumberland River up in Kentucky.
The highest it's going to be is 60 gallons per second, or 60,000 gallons per second. If I'm not, unless I messed that up, it's some astronomical number that they've never dumped out of that thing before, and it is leaking again, by the way. So, yeah, we're gonna get a lot of water down here shortly.
Well, let's hope they don't make a little mistake on the calculations, because Cumberland doesn't need anything, especially with Nashville in the middle of it.
Ain't that the truth? Y'all carry on, and hope everybody can stay dry. And talk to you when I can. KI4SIB.
Yeah, very good, Richard. Sound good. That's Richard, Kilo India 4, Sierra India Bravo. He's over in Lebanon. Who else? East of Mount Juliet?
KI4QCJ.
Hey, very good. How are you doing there, JD?
Hey, doing good, Paul. Yeah, I heard you guys talking about that. I sent an email out a while ago, and I don't know if you guys seen it or not.
Oh, no, I saw it. That's what triggered my interest. I didn't even know where the Wolf Creek Dam was.
Well, and I didn't want to I did respond back to Mike, and I don't know if he's on tonight, but, he responded back saying it wasn't an official announcement. And I don't know why they sent that text. Now, I love getting those texts, don't get me wrong, but, man, if you lived here 10 years ago, a text like that can really put some concern on somebody.
Oh, yeah. Well, apparently it was, because I was just looking at that on the web on wherever I looked at just a little while ago. It's the I don't know what that is. It's the notification alerts for Wilson County EMA, and that comes in however they take that in, and it's an advisory about that Wolf Creek Dam, Cumberland River, and Old Hickory Lake, and it says it's kind of official from the Wilson County EMA. Yeah, go ahead, Richard.
My wife looked up the Corps of Engineers website, and they said if 60,000 or whatever that number is not enough to get the job done, they will increase it. They're trying to prevent that dam up there from giving way, I think, what it boils down to.
Well, that would be a good thing.
Yeah, that would be an excellent thing. And yeah, I think this is the real deal. I don't think this is speculation.
Let's put it this way. If a dam up there breaks, I would not want to be one of those barges parked along the Cumberland River en route.
If that dam breaks, Paul, you don't want to be anywhere close to that body of water all the way down, all the way to Paris, Tennessee. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be absolutely horrible.
Well, I'm pretty sure if they thought it was going to, they'd give an advisory to that effect.
Well, unless they're trying to keep down panic.
Or increase population control.
Well, hey, Paul, this came for QCJ. Yeah, I grew up here, and back in '07, man, companies, everybody had maps of that floodplain. If that dam broke, I mean, it was a big deal, and it was a big concern. Matter of fact, if you know where I-40, when you're on I-40, when you go in front of Percy Priest Dam, on that interstate right there, that would be underwater. So if that tells you anything, that'd be a pretty devastating if that dam breaks.
Yeah, I got you. That makes sense. Yeah, because it would push it right straight back up the Stones River, no question about it. But let's hope it doesn't, and I hope they don't. I think they've got it under control. I hope they have it under better control than they did over in Lake Pontchartrain, over there in like they had over in New Orleans area in 2000, whatever that was, 6.
Yeah, that's and you guys, you can go out. You can still look at the maps the Corps of Engineer puts out there and kind of see. I know where my home is now. It's safe here, but my son's not home, and he's in an area that's just concerned. So that's why I was, I don't want to say panic mode, but that's why I was in concern mode. But anyway, hey, this is K4 QCJ just checking in. Paul, thank you. I appreciate everything you do.
All right, very good. That's JD, Kilo November 4, Quebec, Charlie, Juliet, over there south of Lebanon, off of 109, I believe. And good to have you in there. Good signal. Who else we got? With a nice advisory that he sent out to the group, and I just repeated it here on the air. You can look it up about the Wolf Creek Dam release of water, I guess. I think we already sent out that link, though, so if you haven't gotten it, just ask for it. Anybody else? East of Mount Juliet?
Or TWI.
Well, you're high enough that you don't care. How you doing, Wes?
Oh, doing good. I'm at 700 feet. We got a lot of water, but I don't think it's going to reach over here. But no, everybody's sounding good. James is sounding good as always. That weird path. But y'all go ahead, KE4TWI.
Yeah, you're only about S2 or 3. I wasn't quite paying attention exactly, but good. So good audio though. Otherwise,
You're S3.
Yeah, sounding good. All right, very good. Good to hear you in there, Wes. That's West, Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey India, down near Watertown, just northwest of there, a little bit. Who else south of? East of Mount Juliet.
W4EBX.
Hey, did you make the breakfast this morning? Because I wasn't there, and you said you were going to be.
Yeah, we missed you. I think we had at least 8 people there. Pretty good turnout. If you can't make, like, I won't be able to make the next one because of the Tullahoma Ham Fest and K-City's next Saturday. But it was a good turnout. I had a good time. Should have been there.
Oh yeah, I had some issues here at the house with just the issues I got going on here. Setting up the hospital bed late last night for my mother, which is a pain, and then that carried on after that with some other issues, and didn't get to bed till late, and I didn't wake up in time, and I was too tired anyway. All right, well, very good, Eddie. You sound good. You're high enough ground. You're thinking about moving where? Closer to the Cumberland?
Closer to EMS station at my age.
Close to an ambulance service, huh?
Yeah, that probably make more sense.
I gotcha. Let's just move over next to Summit Hospital.
Well, of it. But just close to a fire station and take them pies every day.
Okay. Yeah, very good. All right, Eddie, good to have you in there. That's Eddie, Whiskey 4 Echo Bravo X-ray. He's over there east of Mount Juliet, a couple miles, and south a little bit off of 40. Who else east of Mount Juliet? East of Mount Juliet, please come in. Nothing heard. We'll go over to the north of Mount Juliet. Please come in. North of Mount Juliet, north of Lebanon Road, Kentucky, and otherwise. Please come in.
KB9RKK.
Hey, you tried to check in from Houston last week, did you?
Yes, sir. You seen that? Okay, cool. Yeah, I was out of town.
Yeah, I gathered. Is Houston as bad as traffic as I remember it?
Yep. And the weather wasn't much better either.
Yeah, well, Houston has I lived in Tampa, as you probably know, or remember maybe. And Houston has about the same climate as Tampa did, so I didn't like Houston that much.
Yeah, I was right by the airport, working at the airport, and I knew the flight coming back was delayed. They had a lot of that kerosene jet fuel smell in the air, just was like really, really strong because of all the clouds. But the reason it was so busy, it's Houston, but they also had that big barbecue that they do, where the horses were coming in and everything.
What, they're cooking horses?
No, they got these trail riders that come in for this barbecue thing they do every year. They come in on horses.
Ah, so you got the jet fuel and the horse poo-poo.
You had to dodge it with the car.
Yeah, very good. We got a good signal as always. You're pegging my meter from your home, so you're doing great.
Awesome. I'm glad the audio's working.
Oh yeah, no, it's working great. Yeah, that Houston's not a place I'd want to live for sure. Way too busy. Of course, it's kind of like Atlanta, and the Nashville area is getting that way.
That's true. That beltway it's a tollway, but it's still packed all the time. I've been at it at midnight. It's packed. It's just always busy.
Yeah, a friend of mine years ago moved there back in probably early '80s. She's the one, he said, even then it was horrible. And her favorite phrase that she heard was, "Cover me, honey, I'm changing lanes."
Yeah. I had to gut it. It's well, whenever you drive a rental car that's strange to you and you're in a place that you're not used to, it's always a little bit, it makes a little bit on edge when you're driving.
Oh, yeah, no, it's always true when you're unfamiliar with the area and unfamiliar with the vehicle. It's, it's like dangerous, it's just dangerous. Oh, well, very good, Frank. You sound good tonight. That was Kilo Bravo 9, Romeo Kilo Kilo. We were just talking about. He checked in, so to speak, on the YouTube video or YouTube live feed, which of course is you can find it by K4PEW on the search block or the word Brain Trusts. It's one word, BRAINTRUSTS, and that's the Brain Trust channel. And who else? Let's see, where was it? North of Mount Juliet.
WB0 and OM.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, Paul. I finally make it to a breakfast and you're not there.
Yeah, so I heard. I'm sorry I missed it. Sorry I missed you, but we'll meet again. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did. We closed the place down practically.
Well, it tends to get that way. We do that on the other Saturdays as well, and usually you don't even have to kick us out just before lunch.
Yeah. I just dug up my old floodplain maps from, back about, 10 years ago or so, maybe more. And if anybody wants, I'd be happy to post one up to the list.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to see it myself.
I'll do it. It's a JPEG, and it's kind of big, and you have to zoom in on it to see what's what. But it was a scary time for everybody that was worried about Wolf Creek at the time. We lots of contingency plans going on.
Yeah, I can imagine so. Because as much you have in the watershed for the entire Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky. I can't imagine how they can even properly figure that stuff out. And obviously, they didn't figure it out back in, what was that, 2010?
Yeah, well, I think they did figure it out. There just wasn't any place for the water to go. And I know it filled up a lot of sub basements all along First and Second Avenue, and it was a mess.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that. I watched it from the news up in my hometown there in Niagara Falls, New York, and I was shocked by it because they hadn't had that happen in a long time.
Right. All righty. Well, I'll post this thing. Hope everybody else has a good evening and enjoyed it this morning, and try to do it again.
Yeah, very good, Mark. Again, I'm sorry I missed you. And it's Mark, Whiskey Bravo 0, November Oscar, and he's in Hermitage. And before that, I forgot to mention that was Frank, Kilo Bravo 9, Romeo, Kilo, and he's up in Northwest Wilson. Who else we got north of Mount Juliet?
84WK.
Hey, figured I could pull you out of the woodwork one of these days recently. How you doing there, Steve?
Wonderful. We're at a life preserver up here.
Yeah, I can imagine. So you're getting the same amount we are, or more?
I think about the same amount.
Yeah, it's a real frog drowner, that's for sure. I mean, yeah, I just this is the most I've seen here, and I've been here 7 years, but I wasn't here for the big one, back in 2009 or 10, whenever that was.
Yeah, we had a couple of frog stranglers today. It's slacked off a little bit.
Well, I had two issues. One, I grew up in a town that there was never ever a flood issue. And number two, when I lived in Florida all those years, the only time you ever even worried about flooding was during a hurricane, really. And while I was only 25 feet above sea level, it would have taken a perfect storm, so to speak, just kind of landing just right up in Tampa Bay to drive water up far enough to flood my house. So it would take a category 5 storm. And that hasn't happened since, I don't know when, 1928 or something. Sometime in the 20s. They haven't had one since then. But doesn't mean there won't be one this year.
Yeah, and the closest storm they had was Charley, wasn't it?
Oh, that was the most recent biggie, yeah, and that went right up in the middle of the state. But they've had others that are, they locally mess things up and tear up a lot of stuff, like they did with that one in Andrew, and then there was the other one was Wilma that came across twice in South Florida. And really, I was down in the Keys after one of those. I don't remember which one it was, and man, the Keys looked like a debris field all the way up and down because US 1 going down to the Keys is a pretty narrow strip in most places. And all they did was they bulldozed the road, and all the limbs and moss and clams and whatever was was all pushed over to the side of the road. I wish I had taken some videos.
All right. Didn't know if I'd be able to make a trip or not, so I'd give you another number. 73 is from Kentucky.
Yeah, very good. You weren't even bumping the meter, if you can believe that, but yet your audio was while not perfect, it was perfectly readable and no problems whatsoever. Full audio.
Yeah, I'm watching the video. I'm not paying. I'm not doing anything to the meter.
Yeah, so I'm not lying. No, you're doing great. I'm really just amazing that I don't know. I find it interesting that the audio is so good and not even moving the signal strength meter. Well, very good. That was Steve, Kilo 4 Whiskey, Kilo uniform. He's up just a little bit north of Bowling Green, probably one of our farthest away contacts. I guess I'd have to check between Shelbyville or Shake Rag and north of Bowling Green. But it's about 60 miles, I think. All right, very good, Steve. Good job. Who else we got north of Mount Juliet? Yeah, all right. We'll move over to the west then. West of Mount Juliet, please come down.
KM4 YRF.
Hey, Michael. Yeah, you're my go-to guy to verify the audio when I turn this thing on.
Yeah, we've been last two times we've batting 100.
Yeah, that's why I went to the Yankees here with the Yankees cap on the web. Yeah, I just thought it was funny. I was actually. It's been so warm and humid, and if I start doing any amount of work, I get very uncomfortable. I tend to be kind of. I don't like warm, in spite of the fact I lived in Florida for 37 years, and so My mother sees me. She goes, "So now you've switched to shorts, t-shirt, and no shoes." I said, "Yep, I'm warm."
I hear that. It's important to be comfortable.
Well, no, it is, and I'm just one of those. When other people, well, it's just funny. I happen to like it cool, and it doesn't bother me usually. And like I said, I go out biking when it's 40 degrees, and it usually doesn't bother me, um, unless it's raining or super dry and it's cold and really cold. But no, I don't. The cold doesn't bother me too much. All right, well, very good, Mike. You sound good. Kilo Mike 4, Yankee Romeo Foxtrot in Belshire. Did you prompt Mary and Marty to check in? Did you?
Oh yeah, every week.
All right, very good. Good to have you in there, Michael. And obviously, great signal. We got matching antennas, so we get the benefit of the 24 and 20. It's 48 feet of antenna. All right, who else? West of Mount Juliet, please go.
Alarm. He always reminds us.
Whiskey 4 Alpha, Whiskey Echo.
All right, hold on, John.
Every week I say, okay, I'm going to remember this time, but somehow we get busy and it slips my mind. But hello, Paul and the gang. Hope everyone is doing well, and I hope that no one out there is experiencing any bad flooding.
Oh, I'm with you on that. Yeah, now, again, that was, like, I think you've probably heard me say that I chose 2 times a week, not for the joke reason so you can miss it 2 times a week, but I knew that there's always going to be occasions where people can miss a net. And then it becomes a habit. And on any given night, sometimes other things come up, family things, work things, recreational things. And so I said, well, twice a week's not that big a deal. And this way we give people 2 opportunities a week. And it's worked out very well, quite honestly, because I think we get more check-ins on average than most repeater nets, that are weekly or monthly. But it's not a competition. I'm just saying that I think it gives everybody an opportunity to get on the air because they can't always do it, in 2 Wednesday. In our case, a Wednesday or Saturday.
Right. It absolutely works out great because gives us 2 chances to check in, and sometimes we miss it. We miss hearing all of you out there when we're not able to check in. But you always do a great job, and we enjoy hearing you people come on too. And hopefully one of these days we'll get to that breakfast and get to meet everybody face to face. Have a good evening, and I'm going to pass the mic over to Marty. You all take care and stay dry if you can. Katie for OE.
Very good, Mary.
84 BQK.
Hey, Marty. Good to hear you in there today.
Good to be here today.
Yeah, good signal from both of you. You doing all right over there in Belshire?
Oh yeah, Mike's over here too. Up on a hill.
Yeah, hill's a good place to be. Now, it's funny how you don't generally think about it until you get one of these extraordinary events. And unfortunately, yeah, somebody's going to, there's areas obviously that are already struggling in low-lying areas. And just fortunately, this doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, it's water or no water.
Yeah, and again, if you live on a waterway of any kind or near one, it's always a concern. Like I said, I said there was never any flooding in where I grew up, but there was rare occasions where there would be ice coming down the river in a really heavy winter, a real hard winter, and the ice would come down in such quantities out of Lake Erie down into the Niagara River, so strong that the current would push ice up onto people's lawns and completely, on those that are right on the river, and sometimes damage a lot of stuff and make a big mess because there was just so much ice in the river. But that doesn't happen too often. But anyway, you don't have that problem here, although I did see pictures of the Cumberland frozen over some years ago back in the 20s or 30s.
Yeah, that's right.
I think somebody told me they're driving cars across it.
Yeah, I know people who walked across it.
Yeah. Well, I hope somebody checked it out first because that's kind of dangerous. Well, very good, Marty. Thank you, Mary. And that's Mary Kilo Delta 4 Oscar Echo November and Kilo Delta 4 Bravo Quebec Kilo, both in the same household there, married in Belchard. Thanks for both of you checking in. Appreciate your loyalty. I realize that people miss the net, and there's no, as you know, there's no demerits. You don't have to make excuses. That's why I know from my own experience that it's easy to miss a net. And then you have to go, oh, I'll catch it next week. And then you don't always catch it for whatever reason. So that's why the twice a week net. All right, very good. Who else? So Weston, Juliet.
W4AWE.
Hey, there you go, John. Were you not hearing Mary when she was on the air?
Yeah, I didn't at first, and although normally I do, but tonight it's sort of patchy for some reason. Maybe it's the front moving through or whatever. But yeah, I'm sorry. Doubled on top of them.
Well, you know that happens. You don't always, if you key up at the same time, or you miss the front end of the others, or they're actually coming in on top of you or whatever. So I understand those things. As you know, what happens. It's not malicious if you don't know it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it made me. In fact, I discovered a couple of weeks ago. I discovered a really interesting audio podcast called QSO Today that I think's been around for 2 or 3 years, and it's a guy who interviews a different ham radio operator from around the world. And there are just some really interesting stories. You can download them to your phone. And today I was listening to part of one of those at random, and it was a guy talking about the concept of, of course, ham radio should be fun. And he said, there's the concept of what he calls hard fun. He's a game designer by profession, and he goes, if you're a contester, you go to somebody's expensive station for a weekend. Well, that's fun, but really enjoyable hard fun is when you improve your own antennas and sort of build your own thing and constantly keep improving it, which made me think of this net, how it's hard fun. With the more enjoyable fun. Over.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying earlier today. I was talking to somebody on the frequency that I don't know. It's none of ham radio is troubling to me, but I see a concentration, for instance, in QST and often in CQ magazine. The tendency recently to be talking more and more about some of the more technical aspects, which is fine. But we should, and it's hard to write an article about how ham radio is really about communicating verbally and or in writing, and actually in a text type environment, because it doesn't. It's not fun. Well, it can be fun if you don't want to do any talking. I'm not knocking people who use it for other things, but all the technical stuff, yeah, it's super important. And it's super important to understand the technical limitations of whoever's operating. I mean, lots of people on the air are not, they're not electronic technicians or electronics engineers, and they're not RF engineers. They follow the guidelines and help of others. And it's about communicating. And it's about, just like these breakfasts or just like these nets, they're friendly, they're hopefully entertaining, you get to meet new people, and that's where the meat of the matter is in ham radio. Really, it's it's talking with other people about whatever. It doesn't have to be about ham radio, but you know what I'm getting at. And I tend to think sometimes we lose sight of that.
Yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly. I will email you a link to this particular podcast because I think you'll really enjoy what this guy says. It's a ham who started out as an engineer by education, and and got involved in other things later in life. And he goes, the whole thing about it that makes it the ultimate fun is the humanity part of it, is meeting people, often when you don't know who it is you're going to meet. And he goes, that's the real fun.
Oh yeah, just a quick note about that. I did quite a bit of digital a few years ago on PSK31, and it was a neat mode if you wanted to reg you, but a lot of people don't want to do that. But I would always include, just to kind of be fishing, as if somebody wanted to, because I wasn't trying to get hundreds and thousands of QSOs really, but I put in just a note about, hey, they put in their boilerplate about what their antenna or their rig or whatever, and I'd say, great, that's a great rig, or I really love. I'd like to have that antenna, that kind of stuff. And this only one time. Now I didn't have any problems with people on the air, but this one time I said something like that. I said, hey, great antenna, or whatever it was. I said, I don't remember now. And he goes, oh, finally, he goes, somebody who wants to actually chat on PSK 31.
Yeah, I heard someone else make a comment, and I think it was on one of these, on that particular blog interview that I heard a week or so ago, where a guy was commenting on, how FT8 and all those various modes are technically interesting, as he put it, for an afternoon. And he goes, I didn't get into this to be a typist.
No, yes, you're absolutely right. It just becomes the method. Now, I did try some of the other modes, and I used a lot of them, really. It's when you get up into the faster modes, the PSK 63, you can't type fast enough. You can't do it. It's you can try, but it ain't going to work because it goes too fast. But you're right. I didn't do this to be a typist, even though I'm pretty good at it. But it's really the people that matter in ham radio. Now, if we're getting into an emergency situation, we'd be more like cops, or firemen, or EMS people, or WEMA people, or EOC people, because that's when, or military for that matter, because that's where the rubber meets the road. There's no BS. You just go for the facts, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's when, in times of real emergency, that's when you dust off the wind link and help somebody out if they need it, and until EMS gets their full system back up. But the real joy is the people.
Yeah, I look forward to that link, John. And John was sending out for those. I'm pretty sure most people can hear John, but just talking about that QSO today. I haven't heard that in a while. I know of it. It's QSO today. You can do a search on the web for that. And it had a thing about that where the meat of Cunningham radio is. And I think everybody understands that. But if you're trying to work all states or work all zones, or work, if you're trying to do that, then you tend not to want to chat on the air if you're looking to just contest. And there's some people who like that too, and I'm happy for them as well. But most people, I think, are in it for the people-to-people stuff.
Yeah, I heard a great one where, many times I'll just listen to 5 or 10 minutes. They're usually about an hour long, and, sometimes it breaks the monotony of XM radio. And one guy was talking about his novice experience they asked what his first contact was, and he goes, well, my first QSO card was a letter from the FCC telling me they heard me in Hawaii on 6150, and I better get back on the band.
That's pretty funny. You got an official observer? Was that what happened?
Yeah, it was an actual FCC monitoring station back when he was, I don't know, I think he was 13 or 14 years old, and had bought a used novice transmitter and didn't realize he had veered the VFO in the wrong direction.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's not the letter you want to get. All right, very good, John. That's John Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo. He's in Belshire. Great signal. Hang around for the BS. I forgot to mention there is a buy-sell swap and swindle net. It's right after me. This, and then the 144-240 upper sideband net on 2 meters. Good. Good to hear from you, John. Who else? West of Montjuic. Anybody else west of Montjuic? Going to the south of 40. Please come in.
Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor.
Very good, Larry. There was somebody you covered up, but we'll come back to them. You're getting the brunt of this too, but I think you're on high ground, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in good shape. We'll let you get on with it, Paul. KE4SYB.
Yeah, very good, Larry. Great signal. Good to hear from you. That was Larry, Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor. He's in Rockville. Who else saw the 40 did he cover up?
KN4 MTV.
Hey, Terry. Yeah, you're going to have to get more power and a bigger antenna to beat out Larry.
I think I was on low power. Is that better?
Oh, no, it wasn't a question of how much, if I can hear you, but you were competing with him was the problem. Well, if you were on low power, that would have made some difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I went from about 5 to 75, I think.
Yeah, I hear you. No, you're doing fine. It was good talking to you earlier today. Everything's still going for you good down there in Murfreesboro?
Yeah, going pretty good there. You're going to have to get XYL beater printed on that shirt there, man. Make it stand out a little more.
Somebody told me don't stand up here in the comments here because they're afraid I'm wearing one of those one-piece old-style bathing suits.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping you didn't have one of those cameras that goes down any lower.
No, I can stand up. I'm wearing jeans, okay? I'm wearing denim jeans. Anyway, no, I didn't. It was bad enough. I went out in this shirt and I wore a denim shirt over it, and I was wearing jeans because I didn't want to go to Kroger's in shorts and bare feet. It didn't look right.
Oh, okay, I hear you. But anyway, I hope everything's doing better there with your mom and everything. And sorry I didn't make the breakfast this morning, but like I say, I got in kind of late and was very tired, and I can understand why you didn't make it. So wish you the best on that. And everybody else, hope everything's going well for them, and hello to them and the people that I missed at the breakfast. Try to make the next one. Get off here and let you have the rest of it. KN4MPV. Enjoyed it. Out.
Yeah, very good, Terry. That was Terry, Kilo November 4, Mike Papa Victor, and he's in Murfreesboro. Who else out of the 40?
K4TYJ.
All righty, Jim in Woodbury. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain too much. How about y'all?
Well, I do get, even though the rain doesn't bother me per se, I get tired of it being out there and me getting soaked every time I go to do something.
Oh yeah, it's my yard is very wet. We're not flooded. We're kind of on the high ground out here, so we're doing good. Don't know what it looks like once you come down off the hill, though. So, you know, if the water gets up here, we are all in very serious problems.
Yeah, if we get up to your level, well, you won't see me again.
Anyways, I ain't got much. Been active on the 160 contest. It's pretty fun. And then that's pretty much it.
So that 160 antenna is working great, huh?
Yeah, it's working pretty fair, yeah. It's usually if I can hear them, I can work them. Of course, they're working extra hard to work everybody they can.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you got that in. I'll be working towards that end at some point here when I have some more time and money on my hands. Very good, Jim. That was Jim in Woodbury. That's Kilo Echo 4 Tango Yankee Juliet in Woodbury. Who else saw the 40?
Kilo Mike 4, November Yankee, Bill.
Hey, Bill, you sound good tonight.
Well, thank you. I just hope it stays as well. But back to the water for a minute. It's the highest I've seen it here in 30 years where I'm at.
Really? I'm not sure where you are in Murfreesboro. What is the biggest problem in Murfreesboro with flooding? What area?
Oh, they're kind of like in a saucer around here anyway. It's got to get to that river sooner or later, one way or another. You have to carry it by buckets, you know.
Yeah, I do know. I know that when I was in Florida, when we'd get serious, I mean, there was always tropical storms, but when we got serious rain, I'm gonna have to dig up that video. There'd be these, swales or ditches in the front of yards, which we have here as well. But there, the ditches were in front of my house. Both of my houses were probably, I'd say, 3 feet lower than the road at the center of them. And there was a couple occasions where the water was level between the road and my front lawn, just completely full, and looked like a flowing river getting down to it because it all poured down to the Hillsborough River which was only about 3/8 or a half a mile away. But anyway, yeah, if it's got nowhere to go, that's when it's a problem, or it's slow getting there.
Well, it'll get there. It just takes a little time, but I don't think all in all we're all that real bad.
No, I would say it's the people around the Cumberland River are the ones that are going to sweat it the most.
I think so. Well, listen, I better back out of here and let you get to some of these other good fellas down here in the South. Cam 4NN will be out.
Yeah, very good, Bill. Good to hear from you. That's Kilo Mike 4, November Yankee, and he is in Murfreesboro. Who else out of the 40? Hey, Scott, are you on low power or a handheld?
Handheld downstairs. I'll go upstairs to the side there.
All right, very good. I knew something was wrong because usually you got a killer signal, but you're doing fine with the handheld and downstairs. And you're talking about the first floor, not a basement, right?
I did hear one other station. I can't remember the name. Said it was east or a little southeast of Lebanon Road.
Oh, did you must have heard JD over there south of Lebanon, over by I think it's 109.
I'm not sure. He was coming in just as good as you were.
Oh, awesome! Must be a good path. Yeah, he had a great signal. All right, Scott, good to have you in there. Look forward to you on the sideband net in a little bit. Who else south? But that was, by the way, that was Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta on his handheld in his, so nobody could hear him, or almost nobody could hear him, from Laverne. Who else we got south of 40?
Kilo India 4, November Delta, November.
All righty, I got David down there in Reedyville. How you doing? You're not on an HT, that's for sure.
What the hell could you tell that, Mr. Paul? I'm doing fine, so you?
Well, I'm just presuming if you're home, an HT wouldn't quite do it.
Well, how do you know I'm not in my little kayak out there with my flippers and goggles and handhelds?
Because I'm pretty sure if you had goggles on, you'd sound like you were talking through a straw with a nasal noise.
Oh yeah, it's certainly saturated out here in the readable community and got nowhere to go. Where it is going, it's going fast though.
Yeah, we're doing fine here in Mount Juliet, but I'm on high ground, so I'm not. And my wife says flood. She keeps getting these flood alerts from somewhere in Wilson County or the surrounding area on her phone, and she keeps telling me. I said, I don't care. I don't care. I mean, I do care about people who are flooded. I just don't care here because we're not going to flood.
Yeah, I heard that. I know it got confusion earlier today. I got 1, 2, 3, about 5 back to back. The first one said event canceled. I said, all right. And then the next one, right behind it, come back and gave a new event. And then it was canceled. And back, well, I was really confused.
Yeah, well, I think that the civil, the EOC people or whoever's doing it, the local emergency preparedness guys, they're kind of like the weather service. They get things messed up too. I've enough problems with, well, not that they're all a problem. It's just that they don't always know the complete information.
Yeah, they must have a protocol of where once they establish an event, then they have to cancel it. And that was a real confusion. But anyway, it's settled. It's kind of calm here. And good evening to all. And appreciate what you do, Mr. Paul.
All right, very good, David. That was David, Kilo India 4, November Delta November. He's in Reedyville with a good signal and not on an HT. He might have been in a kayak somewhere in his driveway, but not that I could see. Who else south of 40?
That was low power, too.
Yeah, so that's 5 watts low power?
That is correct, sir.
Okay, very good. You're doing fine here. Low power for David on 5 watts. Anyway, it was Kilo India 4, November Delta November in Reedyville. Who else out of the 40?
K4 OFO.
Hello, Donnie. Just soggy yard is what you got.
Well, I do. I got another lake down there in the front yard, but it goes down pretty quick. So I just hope everybody's safe tonight. Wait and see what all these thunderstorms may do. I'm afraid I'm gonna lose a couple of trees. So it looks like.
Oh, is that right? You mean too soggy?
Yeah, and I've got a couple of them that's leaning pretty bad. So if we get any wind at all, 40 or 50 mile an hour, I'm sure I'll lose them.
Yeah, that's no good. Yeah, when we had some relatively high winds, I know when we lived in Florida, I was actually shocked because I saw 2 trees in my neighborhood. They were mature oak trees. When I mean mature, they were roughly 6 to 7 feet in circumference. And they just pulled us, and obviously not deep rooted, but they just flipped over, and here's a big root standing up there, and the whole yard's ripped up. I thought, wow. I hadn't seen that in ages, but the ground was so soft and the wind was just strong enough to push it over.
Yeah, if they just fall, as long as they don't hit anybody or any vehicles or do any damage other than falling, I'll be all right. I can handle that part of it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you on that, man. It can, as you know, fallen trees can certainly do a hurting on people and things. All right, very good. We got Donnie, and he's in Hermitage, just south of Mount Juliet. Kilo 4, Oscar, Foxtrot, Oscar. Good signal. He's as soggy as the rest of us. Who else out the 40?
Stands for PQX.
Hello, Joey.
How's it hanging?
Well, it's hanging well enough that I got your name connected to the right call.
Well, that's a good sign. That's very good.
It's a good. You know, it's funny. I had a reminder, trying to remember why, but I saw your call and I go, oh yeah, that's Joey. I know who that is.
Well, that's great. You know, it really, really makes me feel good. It only took like what, 6 months?
You're lucky. It usually takes me a lot longer.
Well, I'll remember that.
No, I don't know if it was 6 months or not, but it's been a while. Yeah, you sound good tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad I sound good, but man, am I getting tired of listening to static. I can barely hear anybody tonight. It's awful.
Well, that's like I've said before. This is what drives people to get better antennas and higher antennas. I mean, that's really the driving factor in Simplex.
I know, but I mean, more so like at some points I couldn't even hear you for some reason. I don't know what's going on. I just have awful reception tonight.
Well, your signal, even on the meter, I was just looking, it's kind of up and down a little bit. So I don't know what's going on with what you got going there, but you need to, hopefully you can ask Robin about it because he could help you out there. He's right next door. But yeah, if you're got up and down signals, you might even have a loose connection or water in the line or water in the antenna or whatever you got going there.
Would water in your coax do something like that? Because my coax has been submerged multiple times.
Yeah, submerged coax isn't too good. Believe me, it'll mess up your signal.
Well, I know what it is now, so that's good, I guess.
All right, very good. Just don't try anything funny like applying 220 voltage to the coax to boil it out.
Oh, well, I won't want to try that. Also, I know you said the swap, swindle, and trade or cheat people out of money or whatever you're doing is later, but I am looking for either a 6-meter...
6-meter what? I think the water got the best of them. You still there, Joey?
Yeah, I'm still here. Did you hear anything I just said? Or was I just talking to myself?
No, I heard you said, I need a 6-meter, and then it went dead.
Well, I would like to purchase a 6-meter transceiver or an old tube transceiver.
6-meter transceiver of any kind? I mean, what? Or a transceiver of any kind?
A 6-meter transceiver or a tube transceiver.
I'm saying a tube transceiver for all bands or just for 6 meters?
Any band. I just think it would be fun to play with.
Okay, very good. We got that. In case anybody's interested or has something to sell, buy, sell, swap, or swindle already, but that's Joey, Kilo November 4, Papa, Quebec X-ray, and he's looking for a 6-meter transceiver and or a tube type transceiver, which would obviously be the older type. All right, we'll find out a little later about that, Joey. Anything else for the net?
I got nothing else. I mean, yeah. Some material to make a roll-up J-pole for my pretty soon.
Yeah, I can tell something's going on there because your signal's up and down, and it normally is never up and down.
Was I talking to myself again?
No. It was just breaking up in what you were saying. That's all.
All right, well, I'll get out of your hair at this point. Please continue on.
All right, very good. And that was Joey, Kilo November 4, Papa, Quebec X-ray, and he is just east of Percy Priest and just west of Mount Juliet Road, about 6 miles south of him. Who else south of Mount Juliet?
KN4 CCQ.
Hello, Preston. What's up with you?
Not a whole lot, man. Just like everybody else, just squishing around out here.
Yeah, that's right. We ought to require my wife. Well, my wife came in, I forget it was yesterday or today, and she goes, have you walked out in the yard? It is like your feet sink right into it. I go, Yeah, that's why I don't go out there.
Yeah, copy that. Hey, you're talking about the signal fluctuation. Yours is doing the same thing on mine. I must have some water in my coax too. You're anywhere from S9 to 20 over. But anyway, still sounding good out this way.
Yeah, very good. Well, your signal is real solid all the way, for that entire transmission.
Well, that's good. That's good. I guess the wind's blowing my antenna around out there. Could be on the ground for all I know.
Yeah. Well, very good. All right, that was Preston, Kilo November 4, Charlie, Quebec, and he's in Possum Trot. You're gonna have to look that one up. Not everybody knows where Possum Trot is, I don't think. Anybody else south of 40? Well, then we're looking for anybody on late check-ins. Please come now. Have to move on to the lollygaggers, lurkers, sandbaggers. Who else? Yeah, the sandbaggers, lurkers, lollygaggers. The SDR donglers, preppers, end-time survivalists, and anybody interested parties. Right, I didn't mention the scanner listeners. All right, nothing heard. We had a monstrous 22 check-ins, which is a great net. Any night's a great net, really. Doesn't matter. And we're going to go ahead and break from here then. And remember, procrastinators on the check-ins got to check in usually after midnight. We sometimes get one or two. Call in the next day and say, I'm checking in late, really late. Yeah, buy, sell, swap, and swindle. We'll move right into that. Does anybody anywhere got anything to, let's say, first, we always know one that somebody wants, and that's Joey's looking for a 6-meter transceiver of any style, or he's looking for a tube transceiver, which would be either single or multiple band tube transceiver. Anybody got anything else that they're looking for? All right, anybody got anything to sell?
W4AWE.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Well, let's see. If somebody's looking for a 6-meter transceiver, I have a new Yaesu FT991 that will do 6 meters. It also does 160 through 10, as well as UHF and VHF. And has only been powered up enough to update firmware and check that it gives full output power.
Yeah, very good. Well, we'll mention that again. I'm pretty sure that as a student, pretty sure that Joey's not going to be fixing his eyes on that one yet. Wallets, I'm sure, pushed a little slim because that was, I don't remember, 9. I forget how much. Tell me again before I make a mistake.
800.
$800. Very good. Anybody, $800 FT991 Yaesu. It's an all band, all mode rig all the way down through 70 centimeters and 2 meters. $800, and that's by Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo. If you have interest, you can find him on his QRZ page, his email. Anybody else have anything they want to sell? Nothing heard. So I'll just briefly go over that. A 6-meter transceiver is wanted, and or a tube type transceiver of any kind, whether it's single band or otherwise. And John's got and that was by Joey needs that. And John that's Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo. He's got an FT991 that's really a new inbox radio, a new in the box radio. I always see that on the ads, NIB. 991, $800. It's an all band, all mode transceiver. And that's 50 watts on both 2 meters and 70 centimeters. Is that one?
Yeah, it's 100 on HF up through 6 meters, then 50 watts on 2 meter and 70 centimeter.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, to me, they could just eliminate 70 centimeters and put that 50 watts on the 2 meters and make it 100.
And it's all mode on all the bands, single sideband, AM, everything.
Yeah, very good. Yep, all mode, all band rig, $800. That's actually a nice bargain for that radio. All right, very good. Anyway, that was John, Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo, and he has he's on QRZ if you want to get his email. Any other questions on the buy, sell, swap, and swindle net? Term swindle's driving people away. All right, well, they're going to move over to the sideband net, which is on 144.240, 144.240, upper sideband on 2 meters, of course, 144.240. So we're going to close out this portion of the net and move over there. We finished kind of early, but we usually finish up around this time, maybe sometimes later. But great net. Glad y'all could be here. Like I said, there was 22 of us, which is a good night. Again, good night is 2 people showing up for that matter. All right, people have a great time. K4 PEW closing this net, moving over to 144.240. All right, it's K4 PEW with the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net on sideband 144.240. Do we have anybody north of Mount Juliet Road?
KB9 RKK.
Yeah, very good. We've got KB9RKK. That'd be Frank. Who else we got north of Mount Juliet?
WB0NOL.
Hey, you got Mark, WB0NOL. Good to have you in there, Mark. Who else we got north of Mount Juliet? All right, west of Mount Juliet.
W4AWE.
Hey, John, good to have you in there too. I'm pretty sure you're hearing the other stations.
Yeah, it's a little less readable than normal, but I do copy.
Got to move my frequency just a little bit, trying to match everybody else's. Who else we got? Anybody west of Mount Juliet, please come in. All right, south of Mount Juliet.
Okay, one SPD.
Ford Tango Yankee Juliet.
All right, I heard Scott, and I heard actually doubles are better, you know, that in sideband because I could hear both of you. Kilo 1 SPD Scott, Murfreesboro, and I heard Jim down there, KE4. I'll get that right in a second. I'll get it. Dang, how can I get that messed up? KE4 TYJ. That's it. Man, my brain is going strange there. KE4 TYJ. All right, Jim, good to have you in there. Also, who else? Anybody else south?
KN4CC2.
Hey, there you go. That's Preston. Good to have you in there, Preston. You just busted our six-person limit here. Is anybody else south of or anywhere south or west or east or north of Mount Juliet?
KE4TWI.
There we go. Setting new records here with 8. Good to have you in there, Wes. Anybody else? Anybody anywhere, north, south, east, or west, please come in. Well, the signals all sound good to me tonight. We had 8 people in there, and I'll just do the rundown. That's Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey, myself here in Mount Juliet, KB 9 Romeo Kilo up in Northwest Wilson. That's Frank, and Whiskey Bravo 0 November Oscar Mark in Hermitage, and Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo John over there in Belshire, and Scott Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta in Laverne, and Jim KE4 TYJ, and he's in Woodbury, and Preston, who's in Possum Trot. That's Kilo November 4 Charlie Quebec. And of course, West, Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey India with a grand total of 8. I don't think we had that many before, so I'm glad there's a little bit more. I think there's regulars in there. I think everybody who's here has checked in before, but is everybody hearing the people I just mentioned?
I could hear most of them. Yeah, I hear everybody.
All good, Laverne.
Very good. So yeah, that makes for a good net when everybody can hear everybody. Now, you're not in the same boat though, like Wes. You don't hear everybody on FM, do you?
No, not here.
Okay, that's what I was saying. So there are occasions that obviously sideband can get through that FM cannot.
Yeah, I think the threshold's a little bit different here. You can hear weak signal.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's the other thing too that whenever I hear that mentioned, and somebody says, "Hey, digital really gets through good," I said, "Yeah, until the signal breaks up, and then you can't hear anything."
Yeah, I was hoping that Mark, WB0NOO, would be in there. KE4TWI. Mark, where you at?
I'm here.
Okay, there you are. I sent you an email.
Okay, good. So I'm glad you guys can hear each other. Well, that's great. Like I said, having 8 in there is terrific. It seems that it's like the rest of the net was. I'm sure it'll grow slowly over time, but yeah, we don't. If we do grow it real fast, we're going to end up with 2 hours of a net on Saturdays, and I don't know what we're going to do if we do that. Well, anyway, let's do this. I'm going to break it up and call 73s to the group, and appreciate you all being in there. It's nice to have that many people on the sideband portion of the net.
Okay, 73 Paul, KE4TYJ.
Yeah, we'll catch you later, guys. Good to hear in there, Jim. You get a good signal on both sideband and FM. Your beams do great.
Oh, thank you, sir. Hey, Paul, I've got you in here about an S6. You're peaking. It's up and down, so you're sounding pretty good.
Yeah, I was actually thinking today after looking at that article on VHF, and I thought, I really ought to take that antenna down and put it vertical. I mean, put it horizontal. Excuse me.
Yeah, you would have amazing results where you are. Yep.
Oh, I'm sure I would. I'm confident of it. I just don't feel like going up there and tearing it down, pulling it down, putting it back up again.
We can do it.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying it's after reading that article again, and that's a great article, by the way. Whoever has not read it, that the one I sent out to the group on VHF propagation, and on 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and 6 meters.
And we'll have you on 432 before you know it.
Yeah, but then I got to buy another antenna. Well, I'll just do it and forget. I'll get like a 22 element. How's that?
UHF, you can get away with that.
Yeah, I know. For about the same price. Well, I think I told you I built an 11 element UHF antenna some years back.
I've got 700, the dual band, right?
And it's
yes,
really crappy. I think I folded over. I think it's a gamma match. This SWR is about 2-to-1, but I got it in the shed and it works.
Yeah, it's doing great. Well, I better close down the net here. I'm still streaming here, so I need to end. There we go.